So we have seen what Pramanam is, hopefully very clearly. So the knowledge of Pramanam is very important because we operated these Pramanams every day in our life, except Shabda Pramanam. As I said, Shabda Pramanam, for gaining the knowledge, what the Shabda, the Veda Pramanam conveys, you have to go to the teacher because the Pramanam is outside of you. It is with the Sampradaya, it is with the teacher. So you want to know what the Veda says, you have to go to the teacher and you have to learn from the teacher. He will operate the Veda Pramanam for you. The Veda is in the form of words. It is in the form of words. So let us study the book. Veda is in the form, available in the printed form of printed material now. Can we study book on our own understand? You will not understand. Not only because of Sanskritam, what Veda says you will find in many places contradictory. Many places you will find contradictory. Even if you take Gita, what Bhagavan Krishna says, some places you will find it contradictory. That is why Arjuna also has in the Gita, the third chapter, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tatkim karmani gore mam niyojayasi keshava Yamishreneva vakyena buddhim moha yasivame. He says that Yamishreneva vakyena, your words are as though contradictory. He doesn't say contradictory, as though contradictory. Yamishreneva vakyena, and you as though delude me. It is not your problem, it is my problem. I am not able to understand, but your words are as though deluding me. I am not able to understand. That is what Arjuna very nicely says. He takes the defect on himself. Of course, it is a defect on the part of the student only, not on the part of the teacher. Bhagavan Krishna is a teacher. How can he be? How can he give his teaching be defective? Whether it is style or the words, whatever it may be. That's the attitude of the student. And Bhagavan Krishna operates a Veda Pramanam. That is Gita. Gita is nothing but Veda only, Veda Pramanam only. What Veda says, that alone Bhagavan Krishna says. That's why Gita also looked upon as the Veda, the Shastram. It is a Pramanam. So, what I'm saying is, Veda as a Pramanam to be operated by the teacher to know what the Veda says. And that Pramanam, you cannot operate it, and you don't operate it in your daily life. So, what Pramanam you operate in your daily life? Only this Paurusheya Pramanani, the Pancha Pramanani, Pratyaksha Anumana, Arthavati, Upamana, Anupalabdhihi. Right? Therefore, the 5 means of knowledge and the last means of knowledge, Shabda Pramanam. The knowledge of these Pramanams, the background of the knowledge of these Pramanams, now we will enter into the text 6 systems of Hindu philosophy. I will read and then I will explain. General introduction. Need for philosophy. We know what philosophy is. We have seen love of wisdom. Once an intelligent human being overcomes the ordinary struggles for existence, he is in all likelihood turned toward discovering the meaning of life. We all discuss the purpose of life. Being an intelligent human being. Human beings are intelligent, endowed with buddhi. Therefore, he wants to know the meaning of life. The results of such attempts is philosophy, the desire, the love for knowledge. Though philosophy means love of knowledge, the Indian systems went beyond the concept of knowledge as an intellectual exercise and landed at the door of mystical experience, which alone can give, through intuitive perception, a clearer and deeper understanding of the meaning of life. Or sometimes we don't have to read everything. The mystical experience and all those things are unnecessary, redundant words here. Not what Veda says. There's nothing mystical. Okay. There is nothing mystical about it. Okay. So people are carried away some mystical experience. There is nothing mystical experience. Veda is a pramanam for the things which we don't know. Unknown means to gain unknown ends, and the unknown means to gain the known end. For all this, Veda is the pramanam. Okay. So in a poetic way, sometimes the author may say here, those things we can just skip. We don't have to spend time on that. So it is a special attitude that got them the appellation Darshana. Special attitude means what? They want to know the truth of life. That is why it is called Darshana. Darshana means seeing, not experiencing. Darshana means seeing. Seeing means knowing. That is called seeing. Knowing is seeing. There is no anubhava. There is no special experience. There is no special experience. If at all special experiences are possible, that is with regard to with regard to the loka, the world where you go after maranam, swarga, etc. There may have some experience, special experience. That's all. That also how you have to do certain ritual, etc., by which you go there and there you have experience. That's all. But as a whole, Veda gives what? Knowledge. Veda gives knowledge. Means of knowledge, what it can give you? Can give you experience. Can give you knowledge. So darshana
Only
means
knowledge.
only knowledge. So darshana means you can take it as knowledge. From the drish dhatu, seeing. See, even in English we use. You see what I'm saying? It means what? You understand what I'm saying? That's what it means. You see means understanding. So darshana means seeing. Seeing means understanding. Understanding the purpose or the truth of life. That is called darshana. Now, primary purpose of the darshana. Almost all the darshanas discover to their dismay that in spite of man's best efforts, life is full of misery. Yes, life is full of misery. Dukkam is there, dukkam and sukkam, but dukkam is more, that is what the truth is. So therefore, only human beings wants to know what is the truth of this life. Why life is there on the earth? Why I have taken this janma, human being? What is it I am doing here? What is my? Why do I have such the connections with the people around? How they are connected to me? So all these things. And then when you analyze karma, then all the karma pala, all those things will come. Hence, how to escape from this misery, not only today or tomorrow, but for all time to become the chief goal of their endeavor. That is moksha. If you remember, Darshana should talk about the six things: Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, Bandha, Moksha, and Mukti. So how will I become free from this dukkha, samsara? That becomes the chief goal of their attempts. And methods adopted. An instinctive urge from within, the still small voice, an unconscious awareness of one's spiritual dimension seems to have driven the Hindu philosophers of the now well-known six systems, Shad Darshanas, to a search for the meaning of life by going deep within oneself rather than outside. So these six darshanas are Astika Darshana. Therefore, the Darshanika, based on, see now, Darshanika, based on what? Based on Darshanika, they are all Astika Darshanani. They are talking about only Astika Darshan, not Nastika Darshan. So this Astika, six darshanas, what we says here, yes, Astika Darshana, and their philosophy, their the mata, the opinion, it is based on Veda only. It is based on what pramanam? Veda is a pramanam. They are acceptors of Veda. Therefore, only we say Astika Darshanam. So therefore, they analyze the Veda, they examine, and they come to some understanding. They give their own view, mata, opinion, philosophy. That becomes the philosophy, Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa, etc. So one by one we will see. Shvetashvatara Upanishad, one of the Upanishad, describes beautifully how these savants and sages that are assembled for an intellectual discussion about the problems of life, leading to some definite conclusions and solutions. Ultimately, they have to fall back upon contemplation and solitude to discover the same. Fine. Hence, tapas, austerity in personal life, as also Shravana, listening attentively to the truths from the great savants, and Manana, reflecting upon them, have become the chief means adopted by the Hindu philosophers. Shravana means listening. Why Shravanam is required? Veda being a pramanam, Shabda pramanam, words. Therefore, you have to use your ears to listen to what the Veda says. Veda cannot say. The teacher only will say. The teacher operates the Veda, pramanam, and the teacher communicates. You listen with your ears. So what you listen, what you have to do, then you have to reflect upon them. You have to reflect upon them. It means if you have any vagueness or doubts like you have in the class, and clarify. Similarly, you clarify either with the teacher or clarify by contemplating on what the teacher taught. So Shravanam and Mananam, these become the important sadhanam for the Darshanikas. This is what Darshanikas did. And based on that only they give their conclusions. Understand? Yes. Is it up to here? It's clear.
Yes, Ji, it is.
Yes, all these are in English. I like other subject. I also can tell you, please read. It's in English, but I don't want to do it. Let me Explain what is to be explained, right?
Thank you, Ji. Yes, Ji.
Place of Shruti or the Vedas. Now only comes Veda as a Pramana. Since the sages who propagated or reorganized various darshanas soon found out the limitations of reasoning, even as that of the human intellect, they naturally turned towards Shruti or the Vedas, the book. It's not a book, really speaking, book for enlightenment. So you cannot arrive at what the Veda says by other means of knowledge. That's why they found out that they realized the limitations of reasoning. By common sense, we cannot arrive at the truth also. What Veda says, it has to be known only by operating the Veda Pramana. The Veda gives you the knowledge, the truth of the reality of life, the reality of the purpose of life. What is this life? What is this Jiva is doing in the world? Who created this Jagat? You will find a answer to that only in the Veda. So you cannot just think and arrive at it. So human beings have to know the limitations. It is out of scope for them. Therefore, only Veda becomes important as a Pramanam becomes important. Now you will very well understand why we talked about Veda as a Pramanam before coming to this book, reading this book. The faculty of
Yes,
reasoning,
Ji.
yes, the faculty of reasoning, which they had discarded as an independent and reliable source of knowledge, was now directed towards the book to get a better and clear understanding of the same. So whatever the Anumana, etc., they are doing now, what happened? All this that they are directed towards not the book, towards Veda. Veda again, they are using the word book. This is the problem with the authors, many authors. Veda is not a book. We can use the word book in a loose way. That's fine if but when you have to understand. Like we say Indian history. Like the book is called Indian history. The book is called geography of India. It means the book is not geography of India. The book talks about the history of India. The book deals with the geographical aspects of India. The book is not a geography. If you want to know, you have to study that. That's all. The book gives knowledge. So similarly, Veda can be called as a book, but book is not Veda. What the Veda says, that is published in the form of the book. So therefore, book, the word can be loosely used. But we should, if you see the word book, you have to understand what it is. Don't take the literal meaning of the word book. Since the proof of the pudding lies in its eating, they soon found out that by following the practical disciplines mentioned in the Vedas, they could achieve the state of freedom of sorrow and suffering. So you want moksha, then you cannot gain that through operating the five pramanam. You have to come to Veda. Not only moksha. Veda talks only about moksha. No. Moksha is one thing. Other purusharthas are there. You want dharma, kama, and you want artha. You want artha. Artha means money. Money in the form of animals, cattle, the real estates. Any form of wealth is called artha. Any form of wealth. Similarly, any form of sukham, the happiness, that's called kama. Kama doesn't mean lust. Please don't think kama is lust. Any form of desire, a comfort, that is called kama. If you want that, and there are means given in the Veda, the rituals are there, karma are there. Doing that, you will get. Suppose if you want a son, that is a ritual called Putra Kameshti Yajna, doing which a couple who did not get child, in spite of medical treatment, if they do that particular ritual called Putra Kameshti Yajna, they may be blessed with a son, with a child. So those are also they are called Kama. Putra Kameshti. They want a son. Desirous of son, they do the particular ritual. Similarly, if there is no rain, a particular ritual called Kariri Yajna, doing which rain will come. How do you know doing which rain will come? By other means of knowledge? No. No other means of knowledge will help you in giving you this knowledge, what the Veda says. So therefore, Veda is an exclusive pramanam. Understand? What Veda says cannot be verified by science. Some people idiotically they say Vedic science or scientific Veda. Nothing called scientific Veda, nothing called Vedic science. Science, what science says can be verified or they within the scope of the five pramana: pratyaksha, Pratyakshadi Pramana, Paurushaya Pramana. What Veda says is not within the scope of those Pramana. What Veda says is not within the scope of science. If it is within the scope of science, then Veda will not be a Pramana. You understand? Therefore, there is a fallacy, there is a wrong understanding when you say Vedic science. Vedas are scientific. It is not scientific. It is not science. Science depend on Pratyakshadi Pramanam. Vedas do not depend on Pratyakshadi Pramanam. Being a Pramanam, it is Anadhigata, Abhadita, Arthavata, Jnana Janakam, independent. How can you say Vedas are scientific? Can you say? No. This is
No, Ji.
another wrong understanding. Okay, you have to note this. Important point.
Okay, Ji.
However, differing interpretations of the Veda give rise to different schools which are now standardized as six. That is why we took upon the topic of Pramanam before. Why? Different interpretations of the Vedas give rise to different schools. Vedas being Shabda, the words, the Vakyas, the sentences. Now these are interpreted by different people. That is six people. I mean, six schools are there, different people, and therefore Shat Pramanani came to existence. Understand? Then evolution of the darshanas. If Hindu tradition is to be believed, all these six systems, Nyaya Vaisheshika, Sankhya Yoga, Mimamsa Vedanta, always they go by pair. Nyaya Vaisheshika, Sankhya Yoga, Mimamsa and Vedanta. There is some similarity between these two, the pairs. Nyaya Vaisheshika is one pair, Sankhya Yoga and Yoga is one pair, Mimamsa and Vedanta is one pair. Individually, six, but they are always go one together. They are started by the rishis or sages of hoary antiquity. This is something you cannot say. Not by sages. Rishis are mantra drashtaraha. They receive the knowledge from the Lord, and that is only in the form of Vedas. It is given to us. Now, these six philosophy are based on Vedas. So therefore, they are not found by rishis. They are found by darshanika. I told the difference between the rishi and darshanika. You need to note that. These are all the mistakes here. All these mistakes are mistakes. This is because of some confusion. I should not say because the author is a great person. It's a mistake. That much only I can say. Okay. The author is not an ordinary person. He's a great, highly learned person, Swami. Okay. We have come across their names not only in the Vedas but also in the epics and ancient Puranas. Okay. The names in the Puranas. The teachings were embodied in the form of embodied in works composed in the form of sutra style, mnemonic statements, extremely laconic, which are easily committed to memory and orally transmitted for generations. So, based on their analysis or understanding of the Veda, they give out the system, and that system is in the form of sutras. Sutra means, Sutra Lakshana. Sutra is easy way of presenting a lot of information. So, Alpaksharam Asandigdam, we know that.
Yes, Ji.
Why it says is there is something called Purva Mimamsa Sutra. Brahma Sutra also it is there. Brahma Sutra by Vyasacharya and Purva Mimamsa by Jaimini. All these they give out this based on the understanding from the Veda. So Vedas were there before. That's why I say they are rishi. We are given by rishis, and these people they work. They understand. They based on Veda. They give their understanding. So therefore, they are called darshanika. That is why I made the distinction between rishis and darshanika. In course of time, as writing became more common, scholar teachers of these schools produced bhashyas and tikas, vrittis and vartikas, various type of commentaries and expositions, both in prose and in poetry, embodying the ideas of the school in greater detail. When other schools attack their teachings, they had to defend themselves vigorously. This attack and counterattack based on logic and reasoning gave rise to a wealth of literature on the schools, going not only deeper into their own subjects, but also enriching polemical literature. I will explain what it is. So these darshanikas, they give their views in the form of sutras and other writings. And on that, the followers of this darshanika, they wrote commentaries. The commentaries are called bhashya. And bhashya and the bhashya is called tika, vritti, vartika, etc. Commentaries on the commentaries. So like that, huge literature came into existence, and there are always since the debate between the different schools. Between different schools, there are always debates. So they argue and they argue. Thank God they will not attack like the modern people. Here in this modern world now, people they don't discuss and solve the problem. Even among the religious people, you can say some religious people they hold on to their belief, and to prove themselves, they are ready to kill the other person. They attack other people and kill them. Like that, in those days, they don't do. Even if there are differences of opinion, they sit and discuss. They give logical reasoning. They give logical reasoning. The poor opponent will be there, Siddhanta will be there, Pura Pakshi will ask questions, opponent will ask questions. Then the Darshanika, the one who advocates certain philosophy, he has to answer. He has to answer in such a way that Pura Pakshi is dismissed. If he's not dismissed, then that person wins the argument, and you have to follow his school of philosophy. So, like that, so there was a healthy discussion. So that's why attack and counter attack. Attack and counter based on logic and reasoning. It's only a debate. It's called debate. So they gave rise to a wealth of literature. Then common factors. I think we can stop. I mean, common factors I will read, and this chapter introduction is going to end. In spite of serious differences on the doctrinal side, there is a remarkable harmony and agreement as far as the practical disciplines are considered in these systems. And recognition of the presence of human suffering was the starting point for all the systems. Of course, what is Jiva, Jivatvam, why Jiva suffers? That is a starting point. Attainment of a state of total freedom, Mukti, from misery called liberation was the final goal. That is Mukti, Moksha. This can be achieved only through right knowledge. But right knowledge is not just intellectual knowledge, but direct and actual experience of one's real nature as a spirit, soul, transcending the body, mind, sense complex. Okay, all these are just a bunch of words. Right knowledge is not just intellectual knowledge. Right knowledge means right knowledge gained only by the appropriate the usage, application of the means of knowledge, and know the nature, the truth of yourself. So you don't have to transcend. Transcending is okay, you can say. Transcending the body, mind, sense complex means that I am not limited to this body, mind, senses complex only. What is my real Swarupa? Because with body I continue to be. Without body also I continue to be. Without body, how, where, in which state? In deep sleep state, you are there, but you are not aware of your body, mind, sense. The same thing you can extend after death also. You continue to be. Then what is my nature? That is what the analysis about. Right? For
Yes.
that, different Darshanikas, they give different opinions, and they give based on the understanding about the nature, the reality of beings, a jiva. For this, disciplines like leading a strictly moral life, the life of celibacy, of eschewing the Arishta Vargas, or the six enemies. Shad Varga is the Shad Ripuhu, we call. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. That six enemies, lust, greed, and hatred is a must. In addition, there should be a continuous meditation on the truths learned through philosophical inquiry until they are realized. Whatever the teacher had taught, you have to think on that, do mananam, that's what mananam, and do vichara, analyze what the teacher had taught till you understand what it means. When the knowledge takes place, then the ignorance, ajnanam is a cause of all suffering. Then the ajnanam has to go. It will go away. Then you understand the reality, the nature of the being, of you. That is called a moksha. Iti Vedantin says. What others will say, we will see over a period of time when we study other darshana. So all the systems believe in the law of karma and consider this world as providing us with a moral stage for acting our roles satisfactorily, gradually improving our spiritual fiber. So that karma and karma pala, and the result of karma pala only this Manushya Janma. And in this Manushya Janma, we do more karma and gain more karma pala. That will determine the next Janma. So it is a cycle. So better do good karma, have more punya, so that next Janma or in this Janma itself, either you will be out of the samsara cycle, or at least if not able to make it, so let more punyam be there. Let you be born in a prosperous yogi family and work for it again. So like that, these are open, available. This is our law of karma concept. Not a concept, it is the truth. So all the systems believe in that law of karma. Finally, we can see a sort of gradation in these systems, helping us to progress from lower truths to higher truth in the Vedanta of Badarayana. That is called Vedanta, Uttara Mimamsa, considered as a pinnacle of Hindu philosophical systems, which can hold its head high even among the philosophers of the world. So all the philosophies of the world. So among all the philosophies of the world, this Vedanta of Badarayana, the Darshanikam, Uttara Mimamsam, that stands top. The Vedanta is, that is what it has been taught in the Gurukulam where I studied Vedanta. Not as a Darshana, it is a, what do you call it? You can call it a Darshana. Vedanta is what, but it is a truth. The reality of life, reality of Jiva. So that is unfolded by the Badarayana through the darshan called Uttar Mimamsa. So with this, is the introduction is over. Then the first darshana is Nyayadarshana. Who is the founder? What is his concept? So quickly we have to read this. So we will meet in the evening, 4:30 to 5:30, and do Nyayadarshana. Let us see how much you will be able to complete. So anyway, I read very fast purposely because I want to complete. So if you understand the gist of what I read, no? That is enough. And based on your, yeah.
3:30, Ji.
Sorry?
We'll have from 3:30 itself, Ji.
Okay, very good. 3:30. Ready? Okay.
Yes, Ji.
Okay.
Yes,
So
Ji, ready, Ji.
so any doubt in what we discussed so far?
No, Ji, we'll just go through the recording once again and
Yes, please go read the book, the same introduction. If you have any doubts, you can ask. I read a sentence. I don't give the literal meaning of the sentence. Certain things I modify. What is the right understanding should be that I give. Please try to understand that only. And based whatever understanding is there, that the questions will be based on what we discussed, and therefore, did you have the right understanding? And then respond accordingly in the exam, the question. Okay.
okay, Ji.
Understanding is important. What words, how you write, that is immaterial. Okay. So we'll stop here. So we'll be in 3:30.
Ji,
Yes.
Ji, is it possible to get any model question paper for Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi? It
Model
will
question.
help for practice. Yeah.
Whatever you learned, whatever I have sent, no, that only Sandhi Vicheda, Sandhi joining, and what I will ask you the Sutram, ask you to explain what the Sutram tells, what is the Sthani, what is the Adesha, and what are the Maheshwara Sutra. If you want, you can write I will ask you to write the particular Sutra, Pratyahara, what are the contents of the Pratyahara, and Shiksha Sutrani, of course. And about the Vyakarnas, I will ask you what the Vyakarnas, Vatikakara, those things. Okay. So you know it.
Ji, Vyakarna and Vakyakara are same, right?
Vyakarana, Vakyakara. Vyakarana is grammarian. Vakyakara is Vararuchi, who has what has not been. Yes, okay. I understand what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Introduction to Panini, I think one file is there. If you have, I send you that file. Based on that only, I took the class. It will be useful
Please,
for you.
okay, Ji.
I have sent you enough material. Okay. As something in the
Yes,
end, I have
Ji,
sent you.
yes, Ji, you have sent, yes.
I sent enough material. Introduction to this and Sutra Lakshanani, that also you can note. Okay. If you ask to write about particular Sutra Lakshanam, please write it.
Astu Ji.
Okay. Yes, so we'll stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyawadaha, Ji.